Alrighty, I am just doing a quick little video on GPT's new OSS models. This is a first of its kind with OpenAI making open weight models and being able to run them locally on your own machine. I have a few articles to show for it. The first one is kind of just explaining the two different models. So there's a 120 billion parameter model, which will require more compute. I don't know exactly how much memory you'll need to run it, but it'll require a lot more than the 20 billion parameter model. So the 120 billion parameter model are for the very high performing computers, just generally owned computers. You might need the H100 card or H1000, the one that NVIDIA is pretty much taking over the AI space with, or maybe it could run if you have a very powerful 4090. But the 20 billion parameter model is the one that is more similar to the models on Llama that you're able to run Llama or Gemma, and their quantized versions of their models. So this is the first of its kind for OpenAI. People were waiting for this for a long time. So in this video, I'm kind of going to go through how to use these and test them out your own. So the way I'm going to show in this video is using a Llama. So a Llama is a quantizer application practically for models. So I will pull up the website and I'll have a link below. But you'd pretty much download a Llama through their website, and then in the models you can scroll through all of the ones that they offer. Llama is Meta's model, which is super popular. I've tested this one out on a Llama, running on my own machine. They have Gwen, Lava, Gemma, Google's model. So yeah, they have a bunch of stuff that's really impressive how we're able to run these models on our own computers. But the thing to remember is because they're running on your computer, they're going to be much less powerful. So they're not going to be anywhere near as smart as GPT-4o or the GPT-5, which seems like it's going to be announced today. So in here, you can click on it. This is pretty much almost like a GitHub repository page. So you can download it straight off here. With a Llama, you would just do a Llama run GPT-OSS. To run it, though, I believe you'd have to download it first. Yeah, you would just have to download a Llama first, and then you can just a Llama run GPT-OSS. So yeah, it kind of just explains the highlights of how it performs in different benchmarks. MMLU is a super popular benchmark, as well as Humanity's Last Exam. And yeah, so once you download a Llama from the link I'll have provided below, you can choose between the 120 or the 20 billion parameter model. I currently have the 20 billion parameter model downloaded. I only have, I believe, a 3080 Ti, which I don't believe would be like anywhere near possible to run the 120 billion parameter model. I mean, I could be surprised. I'm not sure. I might make a new video testing that out after this. But for the 20 billion parameter model, you can run it just directly in this Llama GUI, which looks similar to like ChatGPT's GUI. And you can just ask like, what's 20 times 10? So it'll pretty much solve it similar to just how GPT works, but it'll give you kind of how it's thinking. This one only thought for 6 seconds because it's a pretty simple question, but it just pretty much goes through like the user is asking this prompt. It formats it in a way to make it understand, multiplies the numbers, provide the answer, it gives its explanation on. It's just simple math. So there's the answer. Another way to run for a Llama would be, if you scroll up here, putting this command into your terminal. So once you have a Llama downloaded from the link and you go to your terminal, I already have a prompt placed in here already. So I started off by just going llama run GPT-OSS 20 billion, and then it asks for user input. So I just put in, I accidentally had caps lock on, but I just put in who is Eddie Van Halen, the guitarist from Van Halen. This took a little bit longer than I was expecting for it to think for a question like this, but it is also cool that it kind of lays out how it is processing this question. So it just places in, similar to what the GUI said, user asks this question, and then kind of goes through its process, and it makes assumptions, like a Dutch person or a Flemish name, and then it searches the memory, Eddie Van Halen, and then it corrects itself from the all caps, which I accidentally did that by having caps lock on, but it's actually a good way to test models because they have to reformat the prompt to be able to understand it correctly. So I reformatted it to correct capitalizations, and then it went through, used its thinking model, figured out it's the guitarist of Van Halen, which is correct, gets his whole name and all of the information out of the data set. This part seems interesting because this isn't correct. So this might be just kind of a hallucination from using a 20 billion parameter model. This is much smaller than like at all 4.0. So this could just be like a little hallucination, but we will ignore it because they ended up finding the name. So that's all right. So it gets the answer, gets just a brief summary and places it in there. And then it goes to go deeper thinking to provide more information on it. So it puts in all these different little facts around him that they just go through and discover through thinking. And this took, let me see if it tells you how long it takes. It doesn't in here that I can see, but I will do another prompt to kind of showcase how long it takes to think. So this is the output. So it gives a summary and then gives kind of a few bullet points of just different facts, similar to how GPT's output is in general with 4.0 or any of those other models. So yeah, this is kind of just a glimpse on typical output, and then I can even ask another question for it to think about and showcase how long it takes. So I can ask, who is David Lee Roth? This is the singer of Van Halen, for anyone questioning. So yeah, this is just per llama. It has this little loading symbol. It'll go through and start its thinking process. Alrighty, I am back now because it took about 35 seconds for it to start producing this output, but it pretty much just started. So you'd have to give it around 30 to 40 seconds, depending on probably the scale of how much deep thought is needed for the question. But now it's providing a similar output to how the Eddie Van Halen output was displayed. So it's going through all of these things. It was able to actually find this part much faster than Eddie Van Halen. I think probably because I had it in lowercase rather than all caps. So yeah, it goes through all of it and gives just a bunch of information, very similar to how you could do it with GPT 4.0 or using ChatGPT, but you can run it locally. So yeah, thanks for watching.